Chinese spy balloons are hovering above our cities in America. Biden has refused to shoot them down. What the hell is going on? A foreign country can fly military weapons above us, and we just impotently let them? The media is calling them spy balloons, but they are likely carrying weapons to cripple the U.S. The Chinese have spy satellites and don't need primitive balloons to take photos. One of these balloons was sighted in Montana. If Montana of all places has Chinese balloons over it, you can bet every other major U.S. city does as well. The only reason it was admitted these balloons exist is because citizens got on the internet and posted videos. It's likely this balloon malfunctioned and lost altitude. This allowed citizens to get cell phone video of them. These Chinese balloons can stay in the air for years. They're solar powered. Who knows how long they have been above our cities before we force the media to admit their presence. It's very likely these aren't spy balloons, but rather weapons platforms. They could be hovering EMP weapons or nukes above our cities. It is flying at 80,000 feet, which is the perfect height to detonate an EMP from. An EMP device is a weapon that destroys all electronics. It would be the perfect opening salvo for a Chinese invasion. Everyone would be essentially blinded to the news of Chinese troops landing. The populace would be more concerned about getting water or heat to live and trying to survive local riots. Again, the Chinese can spy on us at their will through satellites. There is no purpose to sending balloons over a city. Have you ever heard of that before? Of course not, because it isn't a thing that is needed. These balloons are an act of aggression that the Biden administration is bending its knee to. Biden and his son Hunter have been caught working with the Chinese government. The Hunter Biden laptop leaks prove it. They are traitors working with China, in my opinion. The Biden administration is lying that they cannot shoot down these balloons because they might have bombs on board. Anyone who understands nuclear weapons or munitions knows that dropping a bomb doesn't make it go off. Bombs are designed to be stable. Nuclear weapons are not detonated by being dropped on the ground. Why are they refusing to shoot down these balloons and examine what weapons and cameras they are flying above our cities? I really want to reiterate what I just said. The Chinese are flying in our airspace. The U.S. admits at very least that these crafts are spy drones, if not actual nuclear or EMP weapons. And the sitting U.S. president decided we are just going to ignore it. How insane is that? Machine gun those things out of the sky. We aren't a serious country anymore if we allow China to violate our airspace like this. If we were flying balloons over China, they would consider it an act of war. Remember Gary Powers and the U-2 spy plane incident? That almost started World War III because Russia caught us flying a spy plane over their airspace. Why is the U.S. response to multiple weapons hovering above its citizens so weak? The government admits there are at least 2 of these balloons from China in the air, but I'm sure there are more. They are very cheap to make and launch, so why would China just send 2? If they can truly stay in the air for years, maybe they have one over every major city in America. Biden needs to be impeached and imprisoned for this. This is high treason and dereliction of duty. People used to get executed for this kind of response. The Japanese flew balloons loaded with firebombs to the U.S. during World War II. They actually killed multiple people. I highlight this to show that the Earth's airstream will carry balloons to the U.S. from Asia. The U.S. government covered up these deaths. They used the excuse of wartime necessity to lie about the threat of aerial firebombs. The Pentagon said the balloon isn't hurting anyone, so they are going to just leave it. I'm just floored by this response. They also pretend that shooting it down poses a potential threat to the lives of citizens below. Obviously, the existence of a Chinese weapon above our cities is a bigger threat to life. It's up there to kill or conquer us. There isn't any other purpose. I'm going to throw out a wild theory. I'm only saying this because I cannot refute this potential move on the chessboard by the Chinese, and I want you to prepare for it. The U.S. is sending a stupid amount of munitions and armaments to Ukraine, but America does not have a stockpile of these weapons. We only have 1 week of artillery ammo to fight a potential invasion force. Biden seems committed to sending everything he can to Zelensky, including cash. But doesn't that leave the U.S. totally naked to a potential Chinese invasion? They could sneak attack us via shipping containers. No one scans those gigantic ships before they get to the coast. What if they were filled with troops, vehicles, and equipment? Shipping containers are even air-conditioned if needed. Air superiority might be a problem for this invasion force, but drones could take up the slack. Handheld missiles have proven beyond effective in the Ukrainian conflict against vehicles and aircraft. Most of the munitions to conquer the west coast of America can be sent in shipping containers. Here is the scary part. Liberal governors like Gavin Newsom would absolutely surrender to the Chinese at their first chance. Biden would surrender as well. An act of surrender from a governor or president would stand down all active duty and reserve troops. This would leave only private citizens with their ATF-regulated weapons to fight the Chinese army. I honestly think the U.S. citizens would win, but it would be disgustingly bloody. Where am I wrong in this assessment? China hates us, and Biden is making the U.S. low-hanging fruit by sending all our troops and weapons to Europe. I suppose nukes are always a deterrent, but maybe that's what these balloons are for. I also feel a contingency of our politicians are bought off by the Chinese. And before an invasion, any country would attempt to bribe or blackmail more politicians. The US does it all the time. So why can't China invade the US? They already have balloon drones hovering over our cities, and our so-called legally elected president allows it.